It may go down as the darkest day yet in the short, turbulent rule of Captain Ibrahim Traoré, not because of a rhetoric from the West or growing isolation on the global stage, but because another front has opened, one bloodier and more immediate than any diplomatic clash. Just hours after returning home from a high-profile visit to Moscow, where he stood shoulder to shoulder with Vladimir Putin and sought deeper military cooperation, Traoré's government was blindsided. In the early hours following his arrival, Al-Qaeda-linked militants descended on the northern town of Djibo in a wave of violence that lasted more than 6 hours, leaving a trail of death, looted weapons, and haunting images burned into the national psyche. More than 100 people are feared dead already. The militants, undeterred and heavily armed, reportedly ambushed military installations, ransacked hospitals, and even paused to take photos inside government offices. A video circulating widely online shows fighters chanting war cries as gunfire echoes in the background. But the timing of the assault is impossible to ignore. Traoré, who took power in a coup in 2022, has made Burkina Faso a battleground not only against jihadist groups but also against foreign influence, especially France. He has accused the former colonial power of exploiting Africa, manipulating public opinion, and fueling instability to protect its interests.
Do people know that when France was experimenting with its first atomic bomb, it was black soldiers they put next to it in the lethal radius to see the effect? Let's bring out the archives. Everything they used against Africa. It's terrible. So, all this needs to be communicated so that young Africans understand, because there are still many asleep who continue to communicate for the imperialists. So, Africans are not capable of developing anything. Africans are not capable of inventing, of innovating, of taking initiatives. That's what we are fighting against. And as long as they continue to see Africans like that, as subhumans who are not capable of thinking, who are not capable of innovating, capable of inventing, we can never be friends. Times have changed. So, it's the very vision they have of black people. They have to stop that, because by treating us like that, it's as if they see black people as subhumans. And that's dangerous.
But we need to communicate. You see, they really don't like it when I speak up. They think I talk too much, so I keep quiet to let them speak and their version win. No, my biggest regret is having spent a good part of my youth listening to radio stations like RFI France 24. I've been in countries where these radio stations were shut down, but we would use applications, record their logs to listen to. But at some point there was a sudden realization that changed everything. I started to understand that they condition our brains to accept what they want.
His fiery speeches and sharp turn toward Moscow have turned him both praise and enemies, and increasingly violence. Since his takeover, Burkina Faso has seen a surge in terror attacks, assassination attempts, and failed coups. But Djibo, a town already bleeding from a past jihadist ultimatums and mass killings, now stands as a grim symbol of just how far the chaos has spread. September 2023, residents of Djibo fled en masse after militants issued a deadly warning. By November the same year, 40 civilians had been killed in another brazen attack.
Security is the government's responsibility. It's the responsibility of security and defense forces, but it's also the responsibility of the entire population. People need to commit to working with us, so recruitment of our young people by extremist groups stops.
And the security forces Traoré depends on have not escaped scrutiny themselves. On Monday, Human Rights Watch accused the army and its civilian allies of participating in the massacre of at least 130 ethnic Fulani civilians in March. Yet, this week's attack feels like a turning point. It comes on the heels of Russia pledging to support the training of Burkina Faso's military, a deal forged in the shadow of a global chessboard that sees Traoré tilting firmly eastwards from the west.
Already, I can say thank you because Russia is one of those rare countries in this world that has taken military equipment to give to us to fight the war. So that's really significant. Apart from Russia and China, there's no one else in the picture. It's just those two countries. These are our same shots. Elsewhere, they refuse to sell to us even when we want to pay, but here they understood we're at war. Russia is also conducting its special operation. We know it's not easy. But if they were able to take equipment and give it to Burkina Faso in that situation, I think that's very important. But that's Russia, as I said. They help train us. Everything we pay for, Russian military personnel train Burkinabe forces on using this equipment and all that. But we want to continue developing our own military industry with the support of Russia, which has a very significant advantage over the world, I would say, in terms of armaments. So we must maintain this close collaboration between our teams so that we can continue to advance effectively in our war effort.
For his supporters, especially the growing chorus of Pan-Africanist voices online, the narrative is already clear. This is not just terrorism, it is geopolitical sabotage. On social media, speculation runs wild. Pro-Traoré voices accuse Western powers, chiefly France, of backing or benefiting from these destabilizing attacks, suggesting a covert campaign to oust the defiant leader and restore the neo-colonial order.
We are here to tell American generals, instead of making an American security report, they will lie as they usually do. Colin Powell lied, Saddam Hussein is dead. Barack Obama lied, Gaddafi is dead. This time it will not pass. Our economy belongs to us. Our gold belongs to us. Our underground resources belong to us.
Now, the idea may lack hard evidence, but in a region where coups, propaganda, and foreign manipulation are routine, such theories find fertile ground. As of now, the government in Burkina Faso has remained tight-lipped. No official statement has been made, but silence cannot last forever.